Oh, the cat came back, by the way, and loves me as much as ever, and it's a pain in the ass, whinging constantly for food. In fact, I think I'm getting ready to throw him again, little bastard. This is an abandoned termite nest. The tree that it was on has fallen down, and the termites have gone. So the whole thing's dried up. I want to get rid of it. Partly for a bit of fun, I have to be honest. But so what I've done is I've poured a bit of diesel on it, set light to it, and the whole thing will burn. It won't burn with a flame, it'll smoulder. And it should smoulder the whole way down, so we'll see how it goes. Right, so phase one, I've made a few mistakes, learned from those mistakes, but yeah, there's nothing detrimental. The roof's not going to fly off in a storm, and things aren't going to fall down, so it's okay. But one example of a mistake is here you can see at the side I've only put 4 posts on the house, and there's a beam going across from one post to the other which supports the floor. A beam on both sides, of course, and that beam is a little bit bouncy because there's no support in the middle. What I did do, you can see here inside, is I did brace the beam that goes across to try and prevent it bending too much, but it does bend a little bit, and the floor's a little bit bouncy, but it's not the end of the world. It just means I can't put anything heavy on it. I can't put sacks of rice or sacks of corn on it, or anything like that. But yeah, not the end of the world. But anyway, that brought on phase 2, and phase 2, if we look around the other side, phase 2 has got 3 supports along each beam, so the floor's a lot more solid. And yeah, I've learned from some mistakes made in phase 1. You see, I've made the tin roofing overlap. You can see overlap, so there's no apex on the roof. Any rain that might run up from the roof of phase 1 will land on phase 2. And my plan is going to be, when I can get the money, is to put a guttering along this side to collect rainwater, and at the end of the guttering there'll be a downpipe which will feed a barrel. So I'll have rainwater in the barrel. I won't be drinking it, I'll be drinking water out of the river. But the rainwater out of the barrel is going to be good for washing dishes and stuff, and bathing even. So yeah, the other thing I've been able to do out of the money from phase 2 is get myself a chainsaw. And this chainsaw here, I think it's going to be the death of me. It's not that chainsaws are dangerous to use, they're not. Chainsaws are they're quite safe to use. As long as you're not in Texas. And yeah, so what's the problem with a chainsaw? I'm just going to take a seat here a minute. A couple of years ago, this old guy shows up with his grandson, who's in his early 20s, and they had a chainsaw, a big chainsaw, bigger than my chainsaw, and the plan was to cut down this old mango tree because it was blocking out a lot of sunlight. Yeah. So they wanted to plant platano where this particular tree was. So they cut the tree down, no problem. It fell, the whole ground shook because it was this big old tree. Its trunk was probably 3 feet in diameter. I mean, it was a big tree. But after you've cut a tree down, the next step is to start cutting the branches off to clean up the area. You don't want to just leave a fallen tree there. So they started doing that. What they didn't realise is that the whole weight of the tree was supported by one particular branch. Yeah? So when they came to cut that particular tree, that particular branch, they didn't realise it was under a great deal of tension because of the weight of the entire tree. So they got part way through the tree, through the branch, and all of a sudden, snap! It released all that tension, and it hit the guy smack square in the face. And it broke his nose, it broke his eye socket, there was blood everywhere. And what they had to do is to take this guy to the river, put him in a boat, take him to the town, and that's like half an hour on the river. They got to the town, then they had to take him to the health centre, and at the health centre they assessed him and went, yeah, not a lot we can do here because we're goddamn useless. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to send you to the hospital in Iquitos. That's another hour boat ride, 1 hour boat ride to get to Iquitos, and then they had to get into the hospital in Iquitos and wait in line till he could get his emergency treatment. That guy was recovering from that particular incident for months. He was having nightmares about it. And yeah, that's why I worry about the use of the chainsaw. But it has to be said, I've learned from his mistake. Very cautious about using the chainsaw. And while we're on the subject of chainsaws, what's this? What's this? Get a nice straight length of log. Slice it down one side. And now you've got a flat surface to stand it on. And when you stand it on that surface, you can now slice the log down in the middle. And what you've got now is two halves of your wood fire. Place the iron grill on the top, job done. And there's the termite nest less than 2 hours later, and it's just about gone. It's burned away the trunk that it was clinging to, and it's also burned the ground that's underneath it, which have got rid of all the roots of the weeds, and nothing's going to grow there for a while, unless I plant something. And in this whole area here, I'm planning on planting peanuts.